Welcome to another Lake Turn Automation RPA solution overview. In this video, we're going to provide an overview of a professional services time entry compliance automation we built for one of our services clients. For those, like our firm, that work in the professional services arena, you know how critical client services time capture is to the profitability of your business. I'm sure you also know how difficult it is to get busy professionals to enter their billable hours worked on a timely basis. But do you know the financial impacts to your business from delinquent and low quality time entry? As a use case background, let me briefly share some highlights from a surprising Affinity Live study that puts some hard numbers on the impact of this issue to your business. I'll leave a link below to the full study in the description of this video, but here are some key highlights. Number 1, the concept of memory leak. In summary, the longer you wait to enter your time, the input quality decreases and the number of missing billable hours increases. If you enter your time daily, it's 66% accurate. Not great, but it further declines to 35% accuracy for those that try to play time entry catch-up on Friday afternoon for an entire week of activity. And per the last paragraph on this page, they found that this equates to around $52,000 a year in missed professional billings per resource. At a high level, this is costing the economy 59 million hours and a surprising $8.8 billion in missed professional services revenue every day in the United States. So, what might the impact for your team not properly tracking all their time on a daily basis mean for your business? I'll let you review the article in detail, but as you can see here at the bottom, a professional services firm of 15 employees, the study has found, is leaking over $1.5 million in annual revenue. So, how can you address these time tracking challenges? First and foremost, you want to make your timekeeping as frictionless as possible. Utilizing current tools and time capture automation, our firm uses Clockify to capture our time, and it has two great features that assist with time entry. Number 1 is the ability to quickly create a blank copy of last week's timesheet to expedite time entry. And number 2 is the ability to create and use custom templates to pre-populate blank timesheets with standard project and task information. Now, while many time entry solutions have this type of functionality, RPA bots can be built to replicate these features in any timekeeping system, and we can also automate any keying headwind you might have in your current systems. So, if you are like most, you might be asking, what if you have an adequate time solution that already utilizes automation to assist, and people simply just won't enter their billable hours on time? We find many organizations we work with face this same challenge. As such, we designed a timekeeping compliance automation based on punishment rather than rewards. Our automated workflow monitors time entry for the previous day, and if a person is missing their time entry, our bot will automatically disable an employee's ability to send email until they enter their billable hours for the prior day. A simple, yet effective solution to a challenging problem facing many professional service firms every day. In this video, I'll be providing a high-level overview of this automation. So let's get started. Since the automation mostly runs in the background, there won't be a lot to see when we watch it execute here in a moment. As such, let's review the main execution workflow here in the ElectroNeek Studio Pro development platform so you have a good understanding of how the automation functions. This is the main subroutine that drives the execution of the workflow. I'd like to step down through here and highlight some of the main steps in the process. I've added some additional comments here to the right to highlight the main steps. The first step is to save the Excel spreadsheet that we're utilizing to grab the data to ensure it is a fresh copy of all of the email addresses of the folks that have not yet completed their time entry for the prior day. In this particular workflow we built for a specific client, we're utilizing an RSS feed that is connected to a database SQL query that is pulling the data out of their time entry system. We can also utilize a bot to run a report out of your timekeeping system to retrieve data for folks who have not yet entered their time. Or we can actually build a bot that will access the display screen of your time entry system, such as Chronos, to pull out folks that have not yet completed their time, or utilize a bot that can go to a website such as Clockify to retrieve time entry information. But net, the intent here is to get a list into Excel or a report of all of the email addresses of the folks who have not yet completed their time entry for the prior day. So once we have that Excel spreadsheet ready to go, we'll do some pre-processing and get ready for the run. We actually also save a copy of this Excel spreadsheet to our archive files for later reference if need be. We then take the email addresses from the Excel spreadsheet and load them into a text file. This text file is then utilized as an input to a PowerShell script. This is where the heavy lifting of the workflow transpires. This PowerShell script talks to Microsoft Exchange, either Exchange 365 as in this instance, or Exchange in-house server, and it deactivates or reactivates an employee's ability to send email. They can still receive email, but if they are on this Excel list, they will be prohibited from sending email. The Exchange server will send them a kickback email if they do decide to try and send an email. We also send them an email, this bot does, notifying them that their email has been deactivated. And then the last step of the process is to do some cleanup and then most importantly update the time compliance dashboard. This is a tool we built for the client to monitor the deactivation and activation of emails, and it also allows our support staff to monitor the workflow and make sure that everything is running satisfactorily. And once the cleanup routine finishes, the automation completes. So let's jump over and watch it run. Okay, before I execute the workflow here within the ElectroNeek Studio, I wanted to show you over to the right. That is a copy of the Excel spreadsheet that the workflow utilizes as input to determine whose email we should deactivate the ability to send. Again, this came in via an RSS feed via a SQL query from the time and attendance system. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and jump back over here to the left to the ElectroNeek Studio. Now before I hit play, you'll have to pay close attention as it runs. You're not going to see much. You'll see the progress window down in the bottom right of my screen, and then towards the left you'll see a very brief blink that shows the PowerShell script runner opening, and then you'll see a very quick blink to the right of that for the PowerShell logon screen. So again, not much to see, but let's go ahead and run this. Should take just a few minutes to run, and we're off. As you can see, down in the bottom right is the progress screen that shows the activity in the workflow that's being executed. You just saw the PowerShell pop, and then just saw the login screen where the bot logged into PowerShell. And here in a moment, the workflow will complete as it ends processing all tasks associated with the spreadsheet we just viewed. So 24 seconds in, and we're done. Now let's jump over to the inbox and see what the emails look like. Okay, let's jump over into Outlook here and see if the email has arrived, and it in fact has. This is the email that was sent out moments ago from our automated workflow, notifying the end user that their ability to send email has been deactivated, as well as providing instructions on how to regain their ability to send email. You will note that in this particular instance, I'm actually using our support email for this illustration, and also you'll see the email itself came from me. That is because I am the one signed into the Studio Pro platform when I clicked the play button moments ago. In a production environment, our clients actually assign an email address to the bots, so the inbound email would come from the bot itself, typically named Time Compliance Monitor or something thereof. So before we exit, let's try to send an email, and we'll see if we get a kickback from Exchange, as I spoke about earlier. Here is a test email I've pre-populated. I'm going to hit send. It's going to go out, and here in a moment we should get a kickback, and there it is. Microsoft Exchange has kicked that back, as their ability to send email is blocked, with the instructions that it has been disabled and how to restore their email capabilities. Now, to wrap this video up, let's look at the last component of this automation, which is the time entry compliance dashboard. So let's jump over and take a quick look at that before we end this video. So last but not least, here is the automation dashboard I mentioned that gets updated at the end of the workflow. Every time the bot runs throughout the day, it updates this dashboard to indicate the number of email deactivations that have just transpired. So looking at the top of the dashboard, you can see a historical graph of each day's runs. The red bars indicate the total number of emails that were deactivated in a given day. So most likely, in our client example, this happened at 10 a.m. 150 people from the prior day had not yet updated their timekeeping entries. The orange bars indicate the minimum deactivation count, so most likely by the end of the day the 150 had dropped all the way down to 15 who had not updated their time entry records for the prior day. So this will historically update as the bot runs. And down here at the bottom is some aggregate information for the dashboard. The first two data elements are regarding the current day's runs, and the last two elements listed there are the aggregate average over all of the runs that have transpired thus far. And then last but not least, the latest run date and time is automatically updated by the bot each time it executes, in this instance every 15 minutes. That concludes this automation overview, and certainly please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or you'd like to discuss deploying this specific automation within your organization. Until next time, may your days be bright and your process burdens light.